This is going to be hard for me because I can pick somebody to be my dad would have been more. He was not just a father-in-law, but he was a very good friend, one of my best friends. So we'll get through it. I've had the privilege of knowing Mark for many years. And from the day I met him, he was always a man of deep commitment. I loved to sit there and listen to all his stories that he would tell of him growing up in his days. He would just, his stories were amazing and they were fun, and he was a man that would do anything for you. All you have to do is ask. Doesn't matter what time of the day it was, what was going on. If you called and say, I need help, he would help you. Mark was a man that God was using many, many years ago, because I was living in Arkansas, next door to them. And as every young family has it, you have tough times. So I had a baby at home and my wife. No food in the house, and I'm praying to God. I'm waiting for my wife to pick me up from work, and I'm praying, God, I have no food, I don't have 2 pennies. I can go without eating. God, just give me something for my baby to eat. Randy comes out of work and says, hurry up, we gotta go. I said, where are we going? He said, my dad's coming into Little Rock over here and he wants to give us something. So we go over there. And it was years later before I found out. He drove like 200 or 300 miles out of his way. So here's 50 pounds of meat, and not just cheap meat, Stater Brothers or whatever restaurant you guys have out here. This was good tri-tip, And he says, but you can't eat meat alone, so here's some money for, whatever. God used him. He goes out of his way to help. I'm sure many of us have been in that position where we're on a road somewhere and we're broke down. Everybody's driving by, and you pray, God, just send somebody by to help me out, and I'll go to church every day. Every Sunday I'll go to church. If you just send someone to help me. And everybody's whizzing by, and you're looking down the road and you see over the hill, here comes a truck. And the next thing you know, it's slowing down. It just stops behind you. And the sun's shining on it so you can't see because it's shining off the glass. And so you're thinking, oh man, this truck driver is going to kill me or something, And then the door closes, and here you see Marv with his white beard and his white hair and his orange shirts. Not only does he stop and say, hey, are you okay? He drives you to the nearest town, gets whatever part you need for your truck or your car to get it going, and then he drives you to get something to eat, and then he drives you back to your car, and then he gets his tools out, and he helps you fix your car. And then he would say, hey, I'll follow you to the next town. You can stop and get a mechanic to look at it, make sure everything's okay. That was Marv. I always enjoyed Marv because I learned a lot from him. He was always a provider. Many of his stories that you all have probably heard when he was growing up was providing for family and friends and doing things. You know, and I talked to him, and his big concern in life was like, what happens if I get hurt and I can't provide for my family, you know, because he was that kind of guy. I need to help people and friends around me. He was a hard worker to the company. He worked for the company, and everybody he worked with, he enjoyed. And I had the privilege of going to several of them. He was a truck driver for years, and he worked up in the coal mine for years. And I went to Hood Trucking with him one time, and he was telling me, here's this guy, here's that guy. Goes to the boss, you know, hey, this is my son-in-law, you know. And everywhere I went, they said, Marv is the best working and hardest working guy I know. And then they say, do you need a job? You know, just because I knew Marv, they'd say, hey, I'll hire you right now. Went up to the coal mine, it was the same thing. You know, it was the manager or owner of the coal mine, and oh yeah, he's the best guy I got working for me, you know, and he's just hard working, and I can always depend on him. And he did the same thing to me. He said, do you need a job? You know, so if you knew Marv, you were set up pretty good. I will always remember Marv. Like I said, I used to just enjoy sitting and listening to all his stories he was telling me. You know, and I'm sure at times he thought I wasn't enjoying it, but I always did. So at this time, I'm going to ask if there's people that want to say a little something about Marv, if you could just raise your hand or come up and tell us your stories about Marv. So, anybody?
I wish I had known Marv a lot longer than I had. He was a great man, and I know he was. I consider Marv a good friend. For many years, a man who loved his family, loved music and work and flowers. He was good and honest. He was trustworthy and faithful man who loved to help others in time of need. I've never known anybody to work as hard as Marv has every day to provide for his family. He loved so much. He drove a big rig of probably 30 years before he actually came to West Virginia in 1993. But you know, it's just on the road that it's just like Ron says, he helped others in many ways. Kay was telling me about times that when it snowed so deep that he would take his heavy equipment out and go down the street, you know, and help people that were snowed in so they could get out and go to work. He helped me at one time when I had a plumbing problem. He came down and worked very hard to get it taken care of. He was a spectacular man. He also had a love for music that everybody knows. He played loud enough, I think, for everybody in the community. And he loved flowers. I can remember him having pots of flowers out there by the bridge. He'd come in off the highway into his property. It was very beautiful. I think I remember when I first met Marv, it was probably in the middle 90s, about 95, I guess. I like to run up and down Buffalo Creek a lot. I seen Marv coming down the road, running himself, and that was the first time I'd ever met him. My thoughts, I said, I couldn't see how he could run as old as he would. But we became friends after that, and I wasn't associated so much with him at that time until Matt and Larissa got married. And then, you know, we became very good friends. I was talking to Ronnie the other day, and he asked me what would be the word that I could express what Marv was. And I came up with Superman. That's what he was to me. He worked very hard. I see him up and down Buffalo Creek with a big truck, working every day. Early in the morning, I'd see him, and late at night, he'd be going home. When he got sick, I had the opportunity to go to his house. And we talked for a long time. And then I'd have the opportunity to talk to him about Jesus. And he'd let me pray for him. We've done that several times. And then, you know, when he got sick in the hospital, last time I saw him, we prayed with him.
Amen.
I think I'm going to see Morris someday. There's a whole lot of good things about Morris that hasn't even been mentioned here. I think if he had anything to say to you today. I think he would tell you to get ready. Jesus is coming back someday. And I think he wants you to be ready. That's my prayer for you today. Get ready before it's too late.